fellow Movie Crusaders, and welcome to another episode of Sean's Movie Crusades. My name is Sean Waskrug, and today we are reviewing the animated film The Addams Family. Now, for most people my age, we all grew up with two Addams Family films, being the live-action series with the Addams Family and Addams Family Values, and we all loved those films for the most part. I mean, we loved Angelica Houston as Morticia Addams, and Raul Julia as Gomez, and of course Christina Ricci as Wednesday Addams, and Christopher Lloyd as Uncle Fester. We grew up with those films and had always been looking potentially for a future film installment of these in a live-action setting. Heck, some people have even posted photos saying that they would love Christina Ricci to come back to Addams Family and be the new Morticia, with either Oscar Isaac playing Gomez or even Rami Malek playing Gomez Addams. So a lot of people were really kind of clamoring for a potential of a new Addams Family film franchise, but they're wanting more of a live action one, not animated. So when this one came out with the previews, it wasn't necessarily very beloved, or it didn't look that great. I mean, even for me, looking at the trailers for this film, I wasn't exactly clamoring for this movie. It wasn't really appealing to me, the way the animation looked and just how the trailers were selling the film overall. Now, I will give credit to the trailers for the most part. The voice cast of this group looks great. I mean, you've got Oscar Isaac, who was one of the people we wanted to play the live-action version of Gomez, doing the voice of Gomez. We got Charlize Theron being Morticia, Chloe Grace Moretz being Wednesday, Finn Wolfhard, who everyone is in love with right now with Stranger Things and It, being Pugsley, and of course Nick Kroll, incredibly funny guy. Everyone loves Nick Kroll from The League and basically everywhere on Comedy Central, being Uncle Fester. So when we saw this voice cast, we're like, all right, maybe I'll warm up to the idea of an animated Addams Family film, because I like a lot of these actors, and them doing the voices of these characters might make this movie great overall. So let's go ahead and jump into the review and see exactly what I thought of this film. Now, the basic plot of the Addams Family film is the film does open up on the wedding day of Morticia and Gomez Addams, and they were basically, during the wedding, run off by the village people of the town that they lived in, and so they are on a quest to find their new home. And while they're going to find a new home, which Gomez says, we're going to go to the one place that no one wants to live in and no one wants to be there, which is New Jersey, which was a funny joke in itself. But there they run into literally Lurch and find their new home. And then of course we jump ahead 13 years, so that way Wednesday and Pugsley are there. Basically, we have Wednesday and Pugsley. They've never left the home. They're cage-schooled, is the term that they're used in this film. But when someone drains the marsh from the town down below and the fog clears, the people in the town below, called Assimilation, is basically finally able to see the castle. And they have like a main actor or actress goes by Margot Needler. She's kind of like one of those fixer-upper housing TV personalities, and she wants nothing more than to fix up the Addams Family home because it's an eyesore to everyone living in Assimilation down below. And of course, obviously, antics ensue between Addams Family and the normal people down below, and them trying to have to kind of coexist with one another or force the other one out. And that is kind of what's going on with the main plot of Addams Family. And then, of course, with Wednesday, she's meeting normal girls who are not like her. And so you have that dynamic, which we've seen in previous films, mainly Addams Family Values. And then Pugsley is also going through basically the Addams Family's version of a bat mitzvah, which is kind of a sword dance. I can't think of the actual word that they use for it throughout the film. But those are kind of the three main storylines going through this version of the Addams Family film. So that's basically the general plot of Addams Family. What works with Addams Family is basically kind of what I said at the beginning. The voice work for almost everybody, and I use the term almost very, very strongly here. Oscar Isaac does a great Gomez. Charlize Theron does a great Morticia. Chloe Grace Moretz does a great Wednesday. Finn Wolfhard as Pugsley, he's okay. I mean, for the most part, the voice cast works very well, and they're pretty good at bouncing off one another in terms of what the dialogue is. But yeah, I mean, like, that's definitely one good thing about the film overall. There are some funny little quips that they say throughout the film that kind of is like they'll say it, and you kind of have to let a second pass where you go, I got what you're saying. Okay, that's kind of clever. The jokes don't land really that hard, though. So like I said, most of the quips, which is usually done through Gomez, Morticia, and Wednesday, is kind of a, wait 2 seconds, I just got the joke. Okay, cool, that was actually kind of funny. Lurch is actually pretty amusing throughout the film. So, I mean, I actually kind of liked him. Titus Burgess from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, he's got a small little part. He plays Glenn. He's one of the film crew people working with Margot. Margot's played by Allison Janney. She's basically just being Allison Janney. But Titus Burgess, I liked him real well. And then Elsie Fisher from last year's 8th grade. She plays Parker, which is Margot's daughter, who actually befriends Wednesday in the film. Like I said, solid voice cast for the most part. Martin Short's in there, Catherine O'Hara's in there, Bette Midler, Snoop Dogg's in there, but you can't really understand that it's Snoop Dogg outside of them playing Snoop Dogg music for him. Really pretty solid voice casting throughout the film. So there's not really a negative voice cast choice for the most part, except for one that I'm going to talk about here very shortly. And if you probably have noticed I haven't said one person's name outside of the beginning, and that's probably for a reason. But yeah, that's the voice cast definitely works well. The fun little Addams Family quips are there, and they're amusing, but nothing really laugh out loud or full on laughter. Kind of more of just like a chuckle kind of thing. But yeah, that's honestly what works for Addams Family. What does not work is pretty much the rest of the film. The animation is not that appealing. Like I said, the voice work for the most part was really good. Nick Kroll's Uncle Fester was god-awful, in my opinion. Nick Kroll basically just sounded like he was trying to do his best Gilbert Gottfried impersonation throughout the entire film, because every time he spoke, I thought about him and not Nick Kroll. Uncle Fester is just annoying as hell in this entire film. Every time Uncle Fester talks, I basically want to tune out, because it is like nails on a chalkboard the entire time he's talking. And the problem is they let Uncle Fester talk a lot in this movie. And he basically just every time he's on screen, I just hate this movie. The storylines are very weak at best. I mean, we've seen a lot of these storylines before outside of the Pugsley storyline, which, I mean, not a bad storyline in itself, but it's also just not, like, it's made to believe to be important, but it's also just not important at the same time. Wednesday's storyline we've seen in past films. It doesn't do anything new to make it that great. And of course, the main storyline of a town who doesn't understand the Addams Family, or vice versa. I mean, it's like beating a dead horse. We've seen this over and over and over again, and this one, I mean, the only thing that's really added to it is today's technology with the cell phones and Instagram and cameras and stuff like that, and it's not funny. It's not enjoyable. It's rather bland and dull, and even at 80 minutes, I could not wait for this film to end. I honestly thought that they could have ended it 20 minutes sooner, and had it just been an hour long, but obviously, you know, most movies don't go out to theaters that are less than 80 minutes, so it really got to that very threshold of 80 minutes, and it ends, and I could not have been happier for it to end. Like I said, outside of a few chuckle moments, there was very little for me to enjoy watching this film overall, and I wanted to like it, because I liked what the voice cast was put in the film, but ultimately, this was a very joyless Addams Family film. I did not enjoy it one bit. I did not have fun watching this film, and I literally just could not wait for this movie to end. So, going to overall thoughts, anyone who's an Addams Family fan of the original live-action series, I don't recommend this film. I don't, because you're just going to be annoyed that this is not what you knew it would be, whether it be the original television series from, the black and white television series, or the 90s films, or even the animated cartoon series that no one really watched. This movie's nowhere close to any of those. It's a poor attempt at a cash grab. It does not look good. It does not sound good for the most part. And some of the characters are very, very annoying. Even though they are casted by great people, it's just not an enjoyable film. So I can't recommend Addams Family to anyone. Even people were like, hey, I want to take my kids to see a film in theaters right now. Should I take them to see Addams Family? No, I wouldn't recommend it. There are other kids' films out there. Even though I have not seen it, I've heard great things about Abominable. I would rather say go see that than go take your family or children to see Addams Family, because this movie is just not good at all. So going to the actual review score of Addams Family, I would have to get it a 4 out of 10. The reason why I get a 4 is because, like I said, most of the voice cast, even though I don't like the story and I don't like the dialogue for the most part, I can't deny the fact that the voice cast for the most part was actually very good. And some of the quips were okay, but ultimately the film just did not work for me. It was not enjoyable for the entire 80 minutes that I was watching of it, so I really couldn't recommend it, and that's why I'm giving it a 4 out of 10, which is honestly one of the lowest reviewed scores of the year for me so far. So clearly, this movie is not in my top 10 of 2019. So going to the list to let you guys know what the top 10 of 2019 so far. Toy Story 4 still at that number 1 spot, with Avengers Endgame at number 2, with Joker at number 3, followed by Peanut Butter Falcon, with Rocket Man being number 5, Spider-Man Far From Home at number 6, with Booksmart at 7, Us at 8, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum at number 9, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood rounding out the top 10 with It Chapter 2 just outside of the top 10. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys feel like this review is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to the channel so that way you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on this channel. And also don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. And for anyone who's been following the Facebook page, you guys might have read it already. I would like to thank everyone here who watches this show for making my Joker review that came out last week our most viewed video so far on the channel in the short year that I have been doing this. Could not thank you all enough for doing that. It made me incredibly happy to see so many people watch that review. And I hope you guys keep coming back. I hope you guys keep checking out the reviews, because we're going to be doing more with this channel in the coming year. Outside of reviews, we're going to start doing particular topic shows, talking about certain things. We're going to have guest stars from the other movie Crusaders of my group popping on. We're going to talk about certain things, topics outside of just one particular film. We got a top 100 list coming from one of the Movie Crusaders, where we will literally judge him on his choices. It's very comical for what we've done so far, and I cannot wait for those to start popping up on the channel. So for anyone looking for a little bit more than just movie reviews, keep checking for this. They probably will start popping up here around the new year. But yeah, and coming up next is going to be the review for Gemini Man. So be on the lookout for that when it pops up on the channel. And until I see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.